We are live, hopefully, and working. I don't know if we can see me. I'm trying to sort out its problem. Right, okay, so that stayed connected to the right thing. It broke and a link. I'm hoping that's gone to the right thing. It's good to see people getting in and finding this one. I need to restart the chat bot now. So that was a good start anyway. And I need to sort out my preview screen because at the moment it doesn't show me the right thing. There we go, there's the right one. Okay, I believe I am now actually live. Excellent, I can see responses in chat. We are live. We have apparently lost a lot of viewers when that happened though. Started but still lower quality. Yes, Luke, my microphone is out of action. I'm waiting on a new part I've ordered to sort that, and I was sent the wrong camera, which is supposed to be as good as the one I was going to use, but clearly it isn't. Either that or my internet really is that terrible this evening. Because I'm getting much better quality on my laptop screen than I am on my YouTube screen. So I'm hoping. I mean, I'm not hoping. I'm hoping my internet is broken, to be honest. With the dropout we just had, technology works fine as long as you don't turn it on. That's very, very true. I very much agree with that. Yeah, my hand has only just come up on the screen then. It's not nearly as good as what I am seeing. I do think this is an internet connection issue rather than a technology itself issue. It would be much easier to find out if Max were here, as he was in the test streams I did yesterday and helped me out with them and so knows the quality. So, yes, welcome, hello. First thing I'm going to show you this evening, because I'm completely lost on where we are. Let's start again. Hello everyone, I hope you are well. How are you doing? There we go. Right. So, obviously this evening, we're getting on with these bits that we were looking at last week. And hopefully, the camera can show you. And it's actually not focusing my end here. So these numbers are looking rather good. And nice and shiny. And hopefully you can all see that and you can see they're looking absolutely fantastic. Oh, and Alex is dropping all the links. Glad you are well, James. Aside from camera wise, how is life in Garyland? Life is good, thank you, James. I do like the Hatton's P class. It's a fantastic model, isn't it? It's just me as Oak's mic a little muffled. Yeah, the well, there's my normal mic. As you can see, it's not plugged into anything. So we are not currently using my good microphone. We'll be back to it next week once I have sorted its issue. It's an unfortunate one. I spent all week working on trying to sort it. Lumps are very shiny, but the varnish used for adhesion is visible. It is on that one because I put a bit too much on. 27 on the other hand. If this camera will focus. I've confused the camera now. This is, I need to get used to the focus points on the camera as much as anything else. It's a very nice camera when you do find the focus points, honest. But it's not going to show that one, but trust me, that one works fine. Yes, so as well as that, I picked up a little something on eBay this week. It cost a tenner. And so what we have here is the old Airfix Pug. Everyone knows this kit. It's missing a few bits. But I rooted around my spares box and I have all of those bits. But much more importantly than that, it has a motorised chassis using a Triang motor. It's got the original wheels, which have had metal tyres added. I've given them a scrub. It's got a Hornby Dublo gear in there, which is missing its screw, so I need to find a replacement for that to hold it to the axle. But other than that, it's a runner. So I just need to get the body off this, and along with those parts, motorised Airfix Pug for a tenner. My favourite type of motors, and if you look at the space there, there is going to be plenty of room for a DCC chip as well. There we go. There's going to be loads of room in there for a DCC chip. So it's going to be digital and everything. Just yet more proof of the things you can shove in small things, eh? Well, splendid. I approve of eBay bargains. Yes, eBay bargains are great, aren't they, James? Might be worth having a sheet of paper to hold behind the thing you were trying to focus on. What a fantastic idea, Alex. What an absolutely fantastic idea. I'm now looking round to see if there's any sheets of paper within grabbing distance. Here is one. It has my address on it, so I better make sure I use the right side. Or actually get up and use something else. But yes, that's a fantastic idea, Alex. Well thought. Gosh, that is adorable. I approve of motorised chassis. Yes, it's brilliant, isn't it, James? Ooh, a motorised Pug. Indeed, Becca. I thought you might like that. Where'd you find this little beaut? It came up in my recommended searches on eBay. No one else bid on it. I got it for £12 including postage and used a £5 Nectar voucher. So it really did cost almost nothing. Would the body be better? Would the body be better to be used on the Craven tank? No, the Craven tank has a chassis and will be wonderful, Will. Out of interest, why so fond of these motors rather than modern can 5-pole types? Because these ones are stronger and more resilient. This thing's already outlived millions of can motors and it still goes strong now. Just as a proof of digital, indeed. So if you don't have the patience, you could always buy a Dapper one, Lazy Waymer. I already have a ready-to-run one of these, but it's going to be donating its chassis to another project. Prove Dapper and the lazy way of doing things. Hello, Aidan. Welcome. How are you on today's low quality, super laggy stream of Doom? Because of course my internet is terrible. Don't know how Pug matches up to the Craven tank. No, I've got the chassis for the Craven tank. I don't need another one. As long as the results are good. Exactly, James. eBay clearly knows you well. It does indeed. I got a Backman branch line collet goods on eBay for a £5. Oh, fantastic. How well does it run? It runs perfectly. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So, yes, what are we doing this week? We are, of course, working on the locos from last week. I have a big wad of paper here now, so let's try this trick of holding a bit of paper behind what I want it to focus on. Oh, doesn't that look better? Sort of. And you can see the varnish used to adhere is not visible. So those brass numbers are on there absolutely fine. And they do make a huge difference to the loco if you are here in person looking at it. They all look so much better for having them on. I have, during the week, managed to get a bit more white paint on these guys. So they're looking like they can be used. I am very well, thanks, Aidan. Talking to motors, just taking apart SW90C motor had paint on it. Interesting. Locomotives look great. Thank you, New Fenris Railroad. How do you guys get such good deals? Constant waiting for them. How's I manage? I wouldn't know. Discord link. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Yes, varnish not visible. Nice numbers. Much better. Wilson G-Roheen, unspecified brand. That was a bid up to £50 already. I see. Can somebody jump over to Discord and drop a link to this stream into the chat, into the works chat for me, please? Luke is looking for us. Apparently he didn't see the link I posted in the last one. I thought we'd seen Luke in here, but he has sent a message asking what happened. Either that or he sent it ages ago and it's only just come up on my Discord. If someone wants to clarify, that'd be great. My phone's just gone off with Luke asking what happened to the stream though. So if you are here, Luke, it's my phone's fault that I'm calling this out now. Excellent. Cheers, Christopher. I see that come up. See, that's come up straight away. Am I? You are, Luke. There we go. So obviously you did get the message. My phone just didn't get it till just then. Sent that ages ago. Look, blame this thing. The old camera, which is now not so much of a camera because we can see it. Done, as to Becca. See, I never saw Becca's message come up. Of course, I am just relying on notifications popping up on the screen there. Because I'm not actually going in and reading it all right now. So, yes, we want to get on with these. We want to get some transfers on here. We want to get some crew in these. So, why don't we start off by paying a visit to the wonderful box of Andy Staddon. Loads of them. Oh, and we want to get some couplings, some proper couplings on all of these, because at the moment they just have the cosmetic coupling that they come with, and it looks great, but it's not one I'd want to use in actual service. It's only held in by super glue. You put an actual train on that, it's gonna rip it out. Super glue is not strong enough. That is why we have very long hooks with springs and split pins and stuff holding them in. I think that when the last one ended, I thought you were going to give a technical breakdown on Discord. Ah, fair enough, Luke. It's feeling hurt because you replaced it, so it's rebelling. That probably is the case, Alex. You're probably right. So yes, let's build some crews. And look, I can now move the camera around without having to worry about knocking the charger out. Eventually I'll get used to the fact the camera is in the middle of the tripod and not hanging over one side. That's why I keep holding everything up to the side, because that's where I'm used to the camera being. So yes, we want to make some crews. These guys have all been in a terrible accident. There's only actually 2 of them left. So there's a crew for a locomotive here. That's the backs of their heads. That's why I can't see the detail. And they actually want to go that way round. This is our driver. This is our fireman. Smash that like button, folks. Hurrah for no charger issues. Yes, isn't it wonderful? No charger issues. And whilst smashing that like button is very, very greatly appreciated, I just want to add that I have put in some customized notifications for when people subscribe or donate or sign up to Patreon, etc. So if anyone fancies trying out the subscriptions or the donations or the joining the Patreon, just to see what the notifications are like, obviously, then please do. Good job you have more coming then, eh? Like, I've got another bag actually, Christopher. But yes, it is a very good job I have more coming. I am looking forward to them. So yes, first things first we want to do on these guys is, despite the fact they've already been decapitated, we want to cut their heads off. But we're cutting them off the sprue, not off their body. If I get you slightly down lower, then as I'm moving my hand, I should be more on camera. That's what we want, is on camera. At least I hope we do. Or at least my hands, anyway. Because as was discussed last night, no one has any proof I'm anything more than a sentient machine with hands. Was there meant for something to come up on screen? Yeah. What did you do, Luke? Because if you've done a subscription or something, yes, but I'm not getting anything in my event log to show that anyone has done that. unsubscribing and resubscribing instantly may not do the thing, do it? So we just drop a tiny dab of super glue in. There is actually a hole there, and there is a pip on the bottom of the poor driver's head. And there we go, he's not quite as disabled anymore. He now has a head at least. Incidentally, is there a reason that you prefer the white metal figures to the Model U figures or similar? These ones are proper Edwardian crew rather than what is in most cases modern ones. I know they've introduced some more older designed ones recently, but these ones are all wearing Edwardian uniforms, and I've had these a lot longer than Model U have had the ability to do that. And they also add a bit of weight to the loco. Every bit of weight helps in a loco, doesn't it? Unsubbed and resubbed and nothing happened. Yeah, so it might not count because you're doing it so quickly. 3D printed doesn't look as good as metal, in my opinion. I think you're right there as well, actually, Alex. There is a lot of detail in these guys. And of course, I compose these guys however I want, which I can't do with the 3D printed ones. A week or two, let's get some double track crossovers for figures, I mean. Cool. Good evening, Lily. Welcome to low resolution stream, I think I'm calling it, where everything is broken. I want to try and get some more light on those locos, really. There is no all the lighting is as normal. It's kind of bothering me. I approve of weight. Yeah, they do weigh a lot more than their 3D printed brethren. So as I say, they've got a little hole in their neck, which we can put a dab of super glue in. Hold their heads in there, which have a small pip on the bottom to sit in. This one doesn't want to stick, obviously. This one likes the life of a decapitated man. There we go. Saturn figures really are superb. Yes, Alex, yes, they are. So yeah, on my preview screen, the quality still looks really good, which makes me think it's definitely not the camera. It is only the actual watch back on YouTube that's looking bad, so I'm definitely thinking it is poor internet connection, which would of course also explain the dropout we had earlier. Blast decoder is too big. Well, that is an issue, isn't it, Christopher? We do not want too big decoders. So if I take the body off this, we can have a look at the space we've got to play with and pose the crew appropriately for the H class. So why don't we get on with that? This is of course the point where someone making videos would cut the recording, do all the work and magically reappear with a loco in pieces to look at. We do this live so you can see it. Isn't that easy? Stream compression. I don't know. I think the quality looks too cut for that. It should be better than this still, I think. So there we have that off, and that confirms that this loco has never been chipped. That still has a blanking plate in it, which means I have never run this loco. So I have no idea how well it works. But now I can get to all these screws round here a lot easier. I wonder if I have any 8-pin decoders I can stick in this whilst it's open. I don't think I do. Now I have to remember where all the joins are. And of course, the PVA from last week will be sticking this down slightly as well. Can you test it? I can test it, Luke, and I will, but not immediately tonight. I would have to reset all the internet and everything as the first part of that test. Hydration is indeed very important, Alex the Mole. As we sit here half an hour in. Yes, I can see all the PVA around the bottom here. That wasn't this wasn't the order to do this in, was it? There we go. It's coming free. The joins on everything are where I thought they were. That's good. I don't know why this corner's so determined to stay in though. I mean, I didn't want the roof to come off, but okay. That corner really is determined to stay put, isn't it? And as far as I'm aware, there has been no glue ever applied to this corner. Evening all. Doing home improvement tonight, so dipping in and out. Hope it's going okay though. It's going interesting, Corbs. Good evening, good to see you. Hope you are well. We are going super professional by having internet problems and stuff like that. So we've actually already had the stream drop out on us once. So, you know, isn't that good? Dust off the inside there, and whilst we're at it, we'll dust off on there as well. Why not? Would it be an Oak Hill stream without a roof coming off? Good point, James. Good point indeed. So you disassemble to add crew rather than use tweezers? Where I can, yes. I thought it's much easier to place the crew in like that than it is to place them in with tweezers through the hole, I think. It sounds tricky. Yeah, we got huge delay on it all as well, which is despite the fact I've told it to have the littlest it can. So I'm assuming Streamlabs has a setting hidden somewhere for me to find. But yeah, so as I was saying, as I started that, if we were doing videos, we'd have gone away, we'd have cut away when I said we were going to disassemble the loco and come back now. You would have missed all that fun we had taking it apart. And interesting, as you can see, the coal that we added last week comes all the way through, out the door in the where the coal would actually come from, and is all over the floor of the cab, as it should be. Hornby really did go all out on modelling an accurate coal space on this loco, didn't they? So we can now see our driver here. If we put it round this way, we can work on this side of him first. I approve of Victorian cabless engines. There's plans for plenty of them, James. Do not worry. Oh, look, Garybot wants you to follow me on Twitter. For those that don't follow me on Twitter, Victorian railway companies thought that cabs made drivers less attentive. The GWR did, at least. Yeah, that was the reason I believed for it as well, James. Victorian cabless are the best. They are quite good, aren't they? They do always look good. So we want to find this fella a nice straight arm, like this one, because I'm going to put his arm sat like that. And that is one of the great things about the Staden Crews, is you can customise them to this level. I should add, not sponsored, just a fan of Andy Staden's work. He's a very nice guy, puts a lot of effort in. And I appreciate that effort, because it means I can have a crew designed around the loco cab that they are working in. There's only so many times I can do that before the super glue sets enough that I can't move his arm anymore. Either that or his arm just falls off. There we go. See you later, chap. See you later then, Luke. Sorry folks, heading out. Have a good one. See you later, Becca. Thank you both for coming. It has been very much appreciated. Oh, look, he fell over already. Let's get his other arm on him first. In fact, I can move the camera, can't I, now? So we can see here this chappie, very nice, very happy, in the cab of his loco. with his arm resting on the side, and we'll put his other arm coming up across to the regulator. Stadson's godsend for pre-grouping modelers, especially as pretty much no one else does Victorian figures, and those that do are nowhere near as good. Exactly, Alex. Exactly. So now we need to find him a straightish arm for the other side of his body. No. Maybe we could go with that one, maybe. I think that is the straightest I have for that side. Driver looks as though he is having a day when all is going well. Well, wouldn't we all like to have days like that, James? Wouldn't we all? Definitely couldn't do this with tweezers. Not a chance. I hear Bassett Loke are doing so. Just no, Corbs. Just no. I want nothing to do with the steampunk range. So well, he's having a lie down. Exactly. There we go. And he's reaching up for his regulator. So with him sleeping on the coal, next we have to do the fireman. This is one of those times I wish that not all of Andy Staddon's crews were standing up and some were bent over and you could have him shoveling the coal. Someone who has always been a huge fan of steampunk, I see why they did. But God, no, just no. Piccadilly Monorail, I'm on a high fantasy channel, short time ago, and thought I'd pop in and see what you are up to. Hello, John. Welcome. Yes, you are actually my most recent subscriber in my events log. So, welcome to the channel where we are having a low quality evening because my internet is dying on me, apparently. It has cut out completely once, so I'm hoping it doesn't do that again. And to go with my internet cutting out, I can't use my proper microphone either, which is rather a shame because my proper microphone is significantly better quality than the one I am using. So yes, Mr. Fireman needs a pose. So it'd be great to have him bent down with his shovel into this coal. But that's clearly not going to happen. I wonder, however, though. Yeah, alright, Mr. Driver, you can come out for now. And you can bang. If I could put his shovel, if I can grab it, just in the coal and have him not working and lazing off out the window or some such. Because again, that is the joy of these kits, is you can do these people, is you can do these things. Look, he could be hand on the brake lever That actually doesn't look too bad, does it? Let's do that. As John said, look at your channel, very impressive layout. I'd like some advice if that's alright. Of course, advice is always alright. That is what we are here for. Can hear you, worry not. Excellent, glad to hear it. It's blooming terrible. What would be good at being steampunk? I approve of Frankenstein kits. I'm glad that you're coming round to them, James. I hope you can see why I prefer these to the 3D prints now. Helps if you don't glue them to yourself, though. There we go, one hand on the lever ready to twist it. But his head is stuck to my hand. I have a Dapol J94 that I've cut the tank down on. It's aesthetically complete, but it needs a weight. How should I weight? What should I weigh it down with? Right. My personal recommendation is Deluxe Materials Liquid Gravity. If we take the nozzle off, oh no, there's not enough light to see in there. Have I got something small? Yes. So this is lots and lots and lots of little tiny steel balls. Pour these in to where you want to add the weight, stick them with super glue. That is my recommendation when it comes to weight. Try not to pour them all over your workbench as well. That's another bit of advice. Because when you're actually pouring them into the loco, you've got a nozzle to pour them out of. Want to keep these screws away from those screws. I'm not too worried about trying to save them. There's no chance of that. There's not enough for me to be worried about it, but getting them out of the way would be nice. Right, chat has moved on quite a bit. Is the loco a kit or just the crew? The loco is Hornby, and we are using a crew from Andrew Stadden, who is a fantastic sculptor. The level of detail he puts into these is second to none, honestly. I've never seen anything like it, and he's a wonderful bloke as well. I am not sponsored. Take a while to explain what's been done to Pure. How cheap can we do it Hornby style? The aesthetic is lazy and slapdash for James. Many Victorian locos far more steampunk as they are anything Hornby has come up with. That is very true, Alex. I'm not entirely sure who buy them. Georgian locomotives, even more steampunk, or Regency locomotives at least. They people like me who love steampunk, but I think they will be in for a shock. Does seem like a bit of a gimmick, but I know very little about steampunk. The way Hornby have done steampunk is terrible. Is Hornby thrive on gimmicks. This is true. Thank you for the advice. No problem. Lead shot is another possibility. Lead shot is always a possibility. Slightly harder to get a hold of depending on where you are these days. Never stick lead shot with PVA. It expands and ruins what you put it in. They also do good models as well as gimmicks. Serious teeny bits of steel. Yes, they are, James. They do, but I wish they would stop doing all the terrible, cheap and nasty stuff. Do they want to be seen as a proper model company or a toy company? Depends on what other people see as steampunk. If you aren't really the market, and you aren't really the market, Alex, it's aimed more at children and cliche steampunk fans. No idea. Cliche steampunk fans. No idea whether it's cheap stuff sells, but one doesn't have to buy it. Interesting. I'm not sure what cliche steampunk fans are into. I wouldn't say it's necessarily aimed at children or supposed to be cheap tat. Because the Hornby did employ a very skilled, serious steampunk modeller to design it. I'm sure anyone that's into steampunk will already know who it is just by me saying that. And I'm sure they will also be very, very disappointed in the gentleman for what he has designed. I can't say I blame you. Well, look, the bot says hydration is important now. So, hydration is important. My biggest problem is it doesn't look steampunk at all. It looks more like some kind of future post-apocalyptic, this where people have stuck random junk on old railway stock. It does, Alex, you are right. So, anyone care to take a guess at who I am referring to when I say about who they've had designing it, or for that matter, does anyone know who they had in to design it? I was very, very surprised to find out this person had been involved. Personally. Plus, has been taken to some conversions. Had good feed. Laurie seems to take pride in them. Really enjoyed taking part. It's a shame they're labelled under the Bassett brand hugely. If the guy from GMRC, then honestly don't think much to his steampunk. It's just Games Workshop. I very much respect him as a modeller and was very surprised to see anything to do with it because it looks so bad. Yeah, I was surprised he had anything to do with it because of how it looks. Now the question is, can we get his other arm? I think we can. Steampunk designer was Laurie Calvert. It was indeed. Who is a very well-respected steampunk modeller, and I'm surprised at what he turned out. Because steampunk is not taking a watch apart and throwing it at a building. And I'm sorry, but that is what they have done. And yeah, the use of the Bassett Loke brand for that was an appalling move. It should never have happened. If anything from this year's range should have been released under that brand, it should have been O-gauge tinplate stuff. But of course that would have defeated the point of 1920s Hornby. And there we are, as our fireman struggles with the brake. Heritage Rail Production on account. I'll tell you what, that confused me for a minute there. Heritage Railway Productions, seeing Uckfield Model Railway come up there, what with my position at Uckfield Model Railway Club. This is Laura Carroll. I imagine Horby gave him very little to work with. I must confess, I don't really get Steve up. High black. Keep it easy, keep it cheap. This guy did Ripper Street, was it? Yes, Christopher, it is. Let's forget about look forward to forthcoming Batman Cyberpunk range. Hello, Tom. How are you? Look, Tom, here's your wagon in super low def quality because, oh, God knows why, to be honest, at this point. I think it's because my internet is falling apart this evening. But here we have an H-Class with a crew designed just for it. And, of course, I hit the one. You know, I could get in really much closer if I did this. No, not there. If I press this, I can take you off the tripod altogether. Put you down on the workbench. And there we have our crew doing their job. Don't they look good? If this comes up on the actual screen half as good as it looks on my preview, it'll be great. And that is why I like to be able to pose my own figures. Let's put you back on the tripod now. Oh God, yeah, that's come up looking okay. That's probably the best shot of the evening, isn't it? Glad it's in low res. That way now you can see the imperfections. But hopefully my internet will be fixed next week, Tom, and it'll be in high res and I'll show it off just for that. So don't think much of his bits anyway, can't say I'm all that surprised. Fair enough, Christopher. It's a nice angle. It is, isn't it, James? Based on Cyberpunk 26. You do a lot of cool stuff with EL wire on a Cyberpunk layout. Yeah, you'll spin like this. That would be awesome. Very nice, nice. And a message retracted. Oh, okay. Fantastic. The crew do look amazing. Thank you very much. You see, this is why I like Andy Stadden crews. They do look amazing. Now, I'm going to have to tell you here that I haven't bought any new white paint. For those that remember, my white paint is terrible. But the crew do now need it. Let's move our P-Class crew over here. Stick the H-Class bits all over here, the right way round, preferably. That way I don't forget. Our driver does not have much white paint on it, white on him. Our fireman, on the other hand, does. So I am just going to stick all these arms in here. I really do want to see my alert notifications come up and actually work. I know when I press test they work, but I want to see them work. Because I want you all to hear the wonderful sound effect I've put against it. So my last thing on the event feed is Piccadilly Model Railway by John Warner has subscribed. Which is a great event. I like events like that. I just wish I could see more of them. Oh, thank you for the links popping up in chat there, Alex. Very much appreciated. Right, I'm going to pour a load of it. I'm going to see if I can find something in this bottle that is not completely like water. I realise I'm asking for a lot out of this bottle at this point. I'm going to decant a large amount of it though. Oh yes, there's all the pigment. Let's see if we can get something out of there. I have just half filled that with what is basically water. So I'm hoping, now that I can see there is actually some pigment in here, that we can get some results out of this. And let's try that on a brush. Where is my little brush? There it is. I mean, that feels more like paint, but it's also got a skin. So we shall see. It's a bit thicker. It's not a huge difference though, but it's definitely thicker. Perhaps this paint is not yet beyond redemption. Definitely sticking to the models better than it did last week. So let me just clean the brush off. And let's see if I can see what I did with all my paints last week. There's one of them. There's one. There's one. There we go. They're all here now. I'd recommend plastic coat enamel. It works perfectly and smooths itself out almost every time. Yes, I personally am a fan of enamel paints. However, for the sake of painting crews, I use acrylic for its ability to go off much quicker. But yeah, I do use enamels usually. There we go. There is last week's crew. They're not going to focus, are they? Brilliant. That's interesting. How does that compare to Phoenix Precision? Well, you've seen how good Phoenix Precision comes up, James, because the eye freeze in it. So yes, our crew, who are currently looking a lot more white than they need to because of how bad that paint is, need a bit of a touch up to their blue bits. There we go, he looks all right now. Never used those before. I find Phoenix to be very good enamels. They go very well. They're reasonably thin. They're much thinner than, say, Humbrol. But they do go very nicely onto whatever I'm using. They're not quite airbrush thin. They do need thinning down for that still, but they are very, very nice paints to work with. Did I paint his hat as well? Yeah, his hat's fine. Excuse me. Can't change channel name, don't want to be too similar. Don't need to change channel name for me. Just hope so. Humber will cause me no end of paint agony. Yeah, they're not the greatest Humbro, are they? Phoenix are much nicer, much smoother to work with. I'm sure I have something covered in Phoenix sat behind me. Give me a second. I would move the camera, but I've not got the cable length on this one. There we go. That's the one I was after. That's Phoenix Precision Paint on the i3 there. And it is, you know, the paint itself gives a wonderful finish. Albeit it does need another coat of matte varnish, but I run out, so it will get that at some point in the future. But it's a wonderful finish on that. All brush painted, that is, as well. Even in figure painting, not something I've attempted much of or with much success. So interested to see. Good evening, Stephen. Good to have you here at, I think the quality is improving slightly, stream 2.0. Because, of course, our first stream crashed earlier. We are using a nice shiny proper camera tonight. We are not using my proper microphone, however, so the audio quality might be a bit low. And I'm having internet trouble, so quality seems to be up and down. So yes, we have been doing some figure painting. We've been doing some figure building as well. These two here have been put together for the Chatham H class by Hornby. These two are for a P class. I have to invest in some of that. It is very good paint. Trainchild, I would love to hear your opinion of difference between the two brands. I use plastic coat varnishes and such forth, so yes, I am familiar with that brand. I'd love to hear what you think the difference between Phoenix and Plasticoat is for enamels. Might find that you get better visual quality with some good angle pose lamps. Oh, honestly, James, the visual quality on my preview screen on the laptop that shows that's running the stream is fantastic quality. Even like at the moment, I'm looking at my test screen that is showing the stream running, and I can see that like this P class looks black. On the laptop one, it looks green. So there is definitely something between the laptop and the internet that is causing some quality problems. Nice LED ones, maybe on a bendy stick. If I flick that off a second, that one's LED. That one's been converted to LED. Admittedly, not on a bendy stick, but it is LED. Let's turn it back on again. So yeah, there's definitely some quality difference between what I'm seeing and what you're seeing. It's good being able to move my camera around and not have to worry about the quality going. If your LBSCR lamp, it is a fantastic lamp. I love it as well. So here we have again these figures we have done and got the white paint on, and that genuinely, because we're using acrylics, that is sort of dry enough for us to play with. I think you might be casting shadows. If your light source is next to your camera, it could assist the camera. Oh yeah, that's why I have the other light source. I have multiple lights shining down to try and defeat shadows. We have 3 separate lights on us, all pointing from different angles. There's definitely still some shadowing, and I think that one is, yeah, that is my, this bright patch that you're seeing here, which I'm going to try and get rid of, is my lamp that sits above where the camera is currently pointing. It's looking like, to me, that I might need to move that light source, which is not a problem. I approve of excessive illumination and recommend some 500 volt cells paint dry. Good evening, Code Monkey. How are you? Good to see you. I love the lines you come in on. Nightmare of my DSLR on the workbench. So much grain. Yeah. This isn't quite a DSLR. It's very nice. It's not quite a DSLR. And in fact, the camera itself has some lights on it as well. Although they don't seem to make much of a difference to anything. If I go like that, I'm now covering up the lights on the camera. They seem to make no difference whatsoever. I've let them go again. I don't want to use that brush. That's starting to spread a bit. Let's go with this one. So yes, the key thing for figure painting is to take your time. I'm going to have some blue tack here for putting the figures in whilst they are wet. So I will paint them and then stand them in there, basically. I'm going to start holding his head and paint his trousers. You want to also try and do colours that aren't touching each other. At this stage, I mean, with the colours I'm doing, like the blue, very hard to have one that's not touching it because it's just covering so much of him. So even his shirt is barely there. Good evening, Frederick Robdell. How are you this evening? Have to go now. Hope the stream goes well. Thank you for coming, Aidan. It has been great having you here. I hope you have enjoyed. I shall see you next time, hopefully. You need the light off Chris's Santa Fe F7. That's a light and a half, that is. So yes, currently the only bits that are really safe to hold are his hat and his feet. Of course, his hat also wants painting. So I'm going to stand him in there. And then paint his hat. The angles I put myself in to be able to do this on camera. There we go. Wound back to see you were sending figures. Couldn't find if you said whose they were. They are the wonderful Mr. Andrew Staddons. They are his Edwardian Loco Crews in 4mm. They are fantastic. I am a huge fan of Mr. Staddon's work. Nothing more than a fan, I should add, because YouTube and advertising and all that jazz. So our fireman, who has much more of his shirt on show, and I don't know how well it's showing up on camera, but he's looking a very nice off-white. I approve of painted hats. I thought you would, James. They do look much better. And we can plonk him in there and get some glue, some paint, not glue, onto his hat. Now, of course, at this stage, when nothing else is painted, it doesn't matter too much if we don't keep it exactly where it's meant to be. Staddon thought so. Several bands of his Edwardian figures to do sometimes. They are great figures. I love them, Stephen. These ones have been posed for standing in the H class, as I said. We've got our driver leaning over, relaxing on one side and reaching for the regulator, and our fireman on the other side operating the brake handle. Forgive me, I'm going to have to go now. You're doing a great job. See you again sometime. Bye for now. Okay, thank you for coming by, John. It has been great to have you here, and I hope to see you again soon. Right, and there is the brush cleaned. So yes, that is step one of painting figures. Now we never actually got these guys over here finished. They need a lot more flesh colour adding. They need a lot of black adding. But these are colours that don't touch each other, so we can actually do both colours at once. And of course, all these crews are way too clean and smart to be working in steam locomotives. No one ever looks this smart in a steam locomotive. And we don't mention any controversial poses that these pre-posed figures may be standing in. It is not a pose I would have chose, but I'm sure there was a reasoning for it. These are, of course, the Masterpiece Models figures, as we saw last week. Pre-posed and specially designed for the Hatton's P-Class. I should put down some more blue tack for these guys to keep them separate. Step one of painting figures is to get some paint and put it on the figures. Yes, James, yes it is. Talking about crews, both new Rocky Pats come with crew figures, so I assume Hornby have done new tooling to those as well. Hope they have anyway. I expect they have. Yes, I expect they will be new ones. Not unless it's a static exhibit. There's a Patreon link for you. Controversial post, surely adjusting the regulator. Yeah, that's what I'm going with, James. Wasn't Stroudley one for checking the cleanliness of the back face of the engine's wheels with a white glass reducing the height of the regulator that's in line? Yes, in fact, under Stroudley, Stephen, the uniform regulations stated every member of staff of the company had to start the day in a pure white shirt. Now imagine working in a steam engine as a fireman and having to wear a white shirt and it having to be white every day. Faded colours were not allowed, greys were not allowed. It had to be pure white. There are stories on the Aslef website of loco men that would have to wear new shirts every day just because you couldn't get them clean enough for his standards. Presume it's height of the regulator. I assume that is the height of the regulator in the loco, yes, James. That is really what I'm hoping. Stroudley sounds like an interesting boss. Yeah, interesting is one word for it. I have just realised I've put away my fireman's shovel that I was going to lean up against something in the back of the H-Class. Also, it must be in this bag where I've chucked all the arms and stuff. All contributing to the local economy, I suppose. Yes, I suppose so. The man certainly wanted appearances up. He had white shirt every day. Yep. Still better than Craven's lunacy. Well, I mean, sort of, I suppose. Let's bring the camera over this way. Look, I can move the camera now. It's great. I love being able to do that. I bet you don't love it as much as I do. What was Craven's lunacy? His locos, his refusal to standardise 70 odd classes. fired from the job because he refused to standardise. Right, so I've got to go and find my clean shirt for Monday morning. Night. Oh, night, Stephen. Make sure you've got a clean shirt for every day, pure white. No coal stains on it. So it's been great having you here, and I hope you have a good night. There we go. That pot did not want to open. That would do it, yeah. True, there were times under Craven, especially towards the end of his tenure, where there were more locos queued up for the works than there were running, because it took that long to overhaul a loco because there were so many different classes and nothing was standard. So the shovel, I'm just going to put some paint on like that. Once that's dry, we'll flip it over and do the same. It's pointless trying to hold the shovel and paint it. Something I like about this paint, and a reason I don't prime these figures, this paint doesn't stick properly. So I get some of the metal showing through on the shovel, and it gives a great effect of a shovel that is worn. I mean, I could still prime the figures for doing their shoes, but you know, too mainstream. I've got a feeling there's some blue tack on the bottom of this shoe. There is definitely some blue tack on the bottom of this shoe. So they can now lie down whilst their shoes dry. Great mindset for a CME. Let's have a different logo for every conceivable task, route, purpose, etc. Day of the week. Yep. Exactly. Exactly indeed. So now we'll paint the shoes on the crew for our H class. And there we go. So they can all lay there in bliss for now. So, shoe tack. No doubt design some lovely locos, but still alone. Yep. Who was worse, I wonder, Craven or Marsh? I think that Craven did not understand the requirement of large railway companies' approach would suit much smaller railway. Possibly, yeah. It certainly didn't suit a company the size of the Brighton. Who, I mean, let's be honest, the Brighton weren't a huge company. but no one needs 72 different classes of locomotive. He was of the mindset that every locomotive should be designed around the job it was going to do. And that meant the exact conditions of the line. So you couldn't just have an express engine, you had to have an express engine for that exact line. Hydration's important, everyone. $22.30 indeed. It is halfway through the stream and I've only just finished my first go on the hydration vessel. That is not normal. If I go market president finishing properly him. Good evening, Killian. How are you this evening? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'll tell you what, everyone. I really, really, really want to know if you can guess what the sound effect for my alert box is. So I'm going to test it and make sure it's actually working. So I'm going to now subscribe to myself. Hang on. Yay! I subscribed to myself. Who can guess the noise? The more specific, the better. I am very well, thank you, Killian. Yay, and there it is, it's come up on screen. I'll tell you what, Code Monkey, you're very accurate there. It is a terrier. We could get more specific than that, though. But only if I tell you it was recorded a few years ago. Where's my flesh colour gone? There it is. You heard no noise? Oh. You should have heard a noise. Leave it. That's no good. That's very not good. I uploaded the noises and made them all, they all worked when I tested them here. That makes me sad. Right, I'm going to turn the sound on here and see if they work when I test on this end. A few years ago, it could be steppers. It is Stepney. Right, so I'm putting sound on here, so be prepared for echoes. I uploaded the noises and made them all. Oh God, there's my voice. I heard it there. Did you all hear that off my speakers? Definitely made a noise for me. How strange. It's Stepney whistling. LBSCR number 55 Stepney. Giving a toot on our whistle. That's really strange. Heard it just then. I imagine you heard it from me pressing it and it playing my end, though, didn't you, Alex? Streamlabs really does not like me, does it? Let's get some colour on these guys. They're looking a bit peaky. There we go. Much healthier looking. This guy not so much. There we go. So I do like you tell. It sounded like it, not directly playing. Stepney's arguably one of the most beautiful engines in preservation. Streamlabs doesn't like anyone. Yeah, good point. Good point, Alex. Stepney is definitely the most beautiful engine in preservation. Not one of, and not arguably. Definitively the most beautiful engine in preservation. God, I hope the microphone's not picking that up. Next door's obviously not happy, stomping up the stairs like that. Lots of retracted messages there. Mr. Mole. I'll have to have words with Streamlabs. I uploaded the sound effect to their website, so it should work. Surely Box Hill is equal. No, Box Hill is wrong. I'm saying nothing. Yeah, Box Hill is wrong. Box Hill has Southeastern and Chatham wheels under her that previously belonged to Wadden. And so her quartering is out by 180 degrees. Say arguably because I've had people argue with me before. People that argue don't count. What's wrong with Box Hill? Yeah, wrong wheels. Chatham wheels. I mean, they're probably originally Terrier wheels, but they're set up in Chatham configuration, and it's wrong. They were swapped before Wadden went to Canada. So yes, we're starting to have some crews appear here now. Slowly. Interesting. But we were talking about what was the most beautiful engine, surely. Yeah, and Stepney is, because Stepney is right. All Stepney's proportions are correct. Box Hill's are not. Because its wheels are the wrong way round on the quartering. 3 out of 10, not Santa Fe. Chatham makes things better. Nope. Nope. My nicest engine preservation is narrow gauge. Oh, don't kick the tripod. You'll notice that's the first time I've knocked the tripod today because I've shortened the arm I normally hit so it doesn't get hit anymore, which is nice. Stepney, the most beautiful engine in preservation. Her Chatham cousin, the Box Hill's wheels came off, which caused me I need to change the quartering on this one to be more in line with Chatham practice. But I've got lots of work to do on that one. Stepney's definitely the more attractive engine. And the crew's trying to escape from Chatham Wadden. Changeability, Fire Queen, Preservation, I'd go Stepney. Yeah, see, Stepney all the way. Even if she is currently wearing her face. It's a bit weird, that, if you ask me. But I'd have to sit on it for a bit of consideration. Oh, you can sit on it, Javier. They've got her cab's open in the museum at the Bluebell, so you come over here, you can pretty much sit on Stepney. It's great. Chatham forever. How is Chatham Quarter indifferent? I'm intrigued. One of them's right hand leading, the other one's left hand leading. I can't remember which way round it is off the top of my head. I wonder if the logos are on the models are the same. Oh, they are. So, Chatham logos are left-handed, Brighton logos are right-handed. Exactly, Killian. There we go. I'm glad someone knew the way round. So here, the connecting rods are going backwards, essentially backwards on both logos, which means on this side, Stepney's is down the bottom and Primrose's is up the top. So they are 180 degrees out from each other, and it's just wrong. That is very subtle. It is indeed, James, very subtle. But once you know it, you know it. So here we go, the shovel now. It's probably easier to show this by moving the camera. The shovel is looking very worn and with some shiny patches in it. Which is why I like not priming that and letting the paint kind of do its own thing. So now we need to put that back the other way up. Grab some more paint. My favourite loco in preservation is the Adams radial tank. I mean, it's a nice loco. I do like the Adams radial. I can't see it on the same level of beauty as a Terrier though. And I know a lot of people that actually don't like it and think it's ugly, and I think they're weird. Because I do agree, it's an attractive engine. It's not as nice as a GWR loco though. Bah! In like GWR, really affect the beauty of an engine. One can only see one side at once. Ah, but you know about it, James. It's interesting. Been working on adding lots of GWR logos to carriages. Seen trains in the last few weeks, which was made easier by GWR standardised. It's also a very nice loco. Better liveries than that. Sounds interesting. Never heard of Simi trains. Have a nice day, everyone. Wish I could stay. Have to clean my garage. Okay, Dominic. Thank you for coming. Has been great to have you here. Seeing all liveries. now, everyone. LNWR Black is a very nice livery. It looks smart on every loco. Whilst there are better liveries, universally applied to all engines, that one is very, very nice. As much as I think Chatham was the best of Southern constituents, the best preserved standard gauge loco is an entirely different colour. All except perhaps orange. Interesting things written by the late 90s as a transport tycoon clone. Yeah, I'm just looking for something for you, Mr. Mould, that you'd probably prefer to a Chatham loco. There we go. That would be preferable to a Chatham loco, wouldn't it, Mr. Mould? Open sourced in 2000. I didn't realise Simutrains had been open sourced. Actually, I assumed it had been, but I'd never actually checked. Just having a look seems interesting. Give it down a fought in circa '08 and developed what is now Simutrains Extended, which incorporated many additional realism features, different classes of passengers, railway signalling, and others. I mean, I've given Simutrains a quick play. I've not spent a long time on it, but it does seem a lot more in depth than other Transport Tycoon clones that are available across multiple systems. Cough, open TTD, cough. No, still the wrong colour. Let's not deny that you prefer it to the Chatham, though, Alex. Horrible Midland thing. No, come on, no. When I were a lad, Midland locos were green. Open source is a delight. Yes, it is. Open source is wonderful. I've got Simutrains Extended specifically, and Pack 1 to 8 Brit Trail. I believe that is the version I have installed on the laptop, James. Added lots of LBSCR things to it. Ooh, yes, in fact, I know that is the pack I have installed now because I have seen lots of LBSCR things in it. I just haven't had much chance to play it. Lab for 1883. See, my Midland stuff will definitely be going crimson where appropriate. I do like that livery. Right, these guys need some life to them. My firemen are going to get brown hair. Battleship grey with red, white stripe down. Swallow on the logo. Doing 125. So you may want to update it. There's been work done to it recently. Excellent, James. I will do that. Vampire and WR locos were green too. No, it's free grouping sting. Insect swallow is marvellous. No, it's not. No, it's not. So yes, my firemen are going to have brown hair. Because they're younger chaps. They haven't been in the service long enough to become a driver, so they've still got colour to their hair. And in the case of this guy here, in particular, his moustache. I hate painting facial hair. I can see the detail that has been put on, but I'm terrible at getting it. Probably be easier if I had a better set of brushes. He's got a very wonky moustache now, that'll do. I'm going to have to paint some of that out. That's our driver. That's slightly better, but I'm still not great at facial hair. Yes, I know I was in the wrong century. Guess you don't remember me. My pre-grouping livery list, Gary. The MR was 4th. Yeah, I know it was. You only went back 1 century rather than 2. Perhaps it's a nice brand. Oh no, it's the hair not gone black with all the coal. Ideally, they will get a black wash over the entire person before going in the locos. So look at the signalling tutorials on my YouTube channel. Oh, I will, James. Don't worry, I will. Tell you about where brown's colour of nice locos. I agree. I mean, brown is a nice colour for locos. Again, umber does look very smart on the big Brighton engines. Something that should have been seen in my slideshow if it had updated like it was supposed to. But there we go. Let's not worry about whether Streamlabs hates me or not, eh? Because if we worried about that, we'd get very depressed very quickly, because we know the answer. Black wash, cunning plan. Yes! It lets me paint them like people and then transform them later. There it is. Still no Umber Terrier from Hornby. No, not yet. But there is, of course, an Umber Terrier from Oak Hill Model Railway. Wartime Black is a good livery. Perhaps that is unimportant, given the Dapper one will probably be better. I would imagine it will be, from what we hear, but it's also more money. But yeah, we still have this Umber Terrier to enjoy. And a fine thing she is too. I'm going to have to grab my paper again, aren't I? See? Umber Terrier. No crew yet. Another one on the list that needs crew. God, that's 3 terriers we've had on stream today. It's almost like there's a theme to my modelling. Not much more though, yeah, but still more. When you're trying to collect 50 of a class, every penny more expensive is more expensive. You're back as Heritage Railway Productions. Next terriers I'd like to see from Hornby is an Umber A1 Terrier. Yeah, it would be great to see one actually come out in Umber as an A1 to be Fenchurch. Look, we've got actual white paint. How well do we think it's going to work? The answer is not very. No one is surprised. There's just a big chunk of pigment there. That's not even trying to be paint. So when I said that maybe this paint isn't completely past it, yeah, it is. But it's okay, this guy wants a nice bushy white beard anyway. So it does kind of go everywhere. As does this guy. There we go. Although that's how you can tell the difference between who's fireman and who's driver in my crews. The fireman has coloured hair. The driver does not. I'm sure they will at some point. Hopefully. I want to make as much back from tooling as possible. But when you consider that Rail's Umber Terrier coming out whenever they actually finally release them is the first Umber Terrier to be available since this one in the 80s. Maybe they could even add the hole on the real Fenchurch. What, you mean the fact that she's got no boiler at the minute? Terriers sell. They do indeed. Do you know why they sell, Alex? They sell because they're the best locomotives in the world. That's why they sell. Switching between the two accounts. Fair enough. I will have to go and subscribe to your other account as well. I'm subscribed to the Heritage Railway Productions account. I'll have to subscribe to your other one as well. Yeah. It is it's an interesting condition Fenchurch is in at the moment, isn't it? Strange it's been so long. Maybe they don't think Umber is popular. And yet, other than the E4, okay, so the H1 has sold really well in Umber, I think. The best locos in the world. Exactly. They are the best locos in the world ever. No matter what Alex says. Oh, are you really Facebook? Yes, I am indeed subscribed to that account. And of course, I follow you on Instagram, but you knew that already because we have talked on Instagram. So, yes, we are at the point now where I think we want to mix up some black paint in a wash. So if I take my pot of wash, I don't think I've done this on camera before actually, so this will be a new one for you. Do it this way so I can actually see. Pour in some black paint. Imagine this, P-Class in LBSC, improved engine green. The man that does all my paintings that I rather enjoy, one Mr. Matthew Cousins, has done mock-ups of a P-Class in improved engine green. He's also done mock-ups of Terriers in Chatham livery. Discounted Chatham Lake and IEG Heresy. And then, I'm using Humbrol acrylic thinners now. I quite often use water for this. And I mix it roughly 2 to 1. And that gives us a nice black wash. That's actually still a bit too thick. So we can add some more of that. So water does work just as well. You don't have to buy acrylic thinners to do this job. It would be nice if I'd stop splashing myself with it though. My arms are getting absolutely covered. That's better. So you can see the patch we're leaving there. If I do it here, you can see we're just getting a nice wash effect there. That is heresy. The Pagoda cab looks wrong in Stroud delivery. It does. You're quite right, Killian. It really does look wrong. Call me a heretic. You know you want it. God, no, I don't actually like the P-Class as it is, let alone IEG. But IEG's a great livery that will make things better. So then we can take our crew, we can put them back on some blue tack. It's the job of a modeller to get covered in paint. Yeah, I know, Alex, I know. I won't mind so much when the stream doesn't take place in my living room. How's that? So we can stand our crews up. We can get a much thicker brush than the one we have been using. IG is nice on Brighton locos. IG is nice on small Brighton locos. Try a Terrier in War Bonnet. How about no? And we can pick up a nice lot of black wash. Take some off on there. And now it doesn't matter how covered this guy gets, he's not going to look nearly as black once it dries. But of course we do want our loco crews looking absolutely filthy. Doesn't everyone have a pair of trousers that contain history of every room they've ever painted? Yes, I do actually, Code Monkey. Problem is they don't fit me anymore. I think it would look great. I don't. Almost improves everyone. IG even on the bigger locos. Yeah, I mean, I know there's like the bigger locos it appeared on, it looked great. But can you imagine IEG on something like one of the Atlantics? I'm just not convinced it would look good. So there we go. 2 sufficiently dirty crews. Let's wash the brush off and get the camera in a bit closer. I agree. Look. My social life can be improved. It can, Killian. Your social life can be improved greatly with improved engine green. Did you not know that? One of its key draws is its ability to improve people's social lives. Certainly wouldn't improve any of our hush hush, that's for sure. No, it would not. Agree, let's go. Not to call the hush hush bear. Okay, I'll call the hush hush bear for you. Just hope not, I get protective of the hush hush. War Bonnet would look good on the hush hush in the original tradition. No, to be fair, had the nose for it. Waits for Luke to erupt. I'd like to see an Atlantic and IEG. I would not, Alex. Right, let's get you guys closer to our very mucky looking crews. So you can see they were, as I was painting them, almost all pure black. So you can see the black is already running off and showing all the colour through. And that's a bit about a wash. You don't want it to stick loads on there. You can, of course, put a second wash on if you so choose. So let's get you back in the tripod. And there we go. Mr. Angry Eyes on the left. yes, indeed. Love it. They do look great. Thank you. I think that close-up shot proves that this camera is quite capable of doing nice shots, and the lack of quality has to be something down to my internet. Great painting. Thank you, Killian. So yes, they are our crews. How's that dry? That's nice and dry now. So I am going to take the shovel and stick it to the coal over here. Don't know what you thought I was going to say. It's PG stream, everyone. So I'm just going to put a blob of super glue there. As the fireman won't be needing his shovel because he's turning the brake handle. It can go there, just like that. I think all that super glue soaked into the coal, so we'll just put a dab more on. These are the ones I'm after. There we go. I'm hoping that is actually... It's not. That pile of coal is inside the bunker. That's annoying. So we won't stick it there then. We'll stick it to the back wall of the cab. Like that. I put a blob of super glue on the desk. I'm sure people remember me doing that. Get something that is not my usual pin, because that is still missing. And then I can apply a tiny amount of super glue, knock the cab over completely and ruin what I was doing, because of course. And there is one shovel leaned against the back of the cab. Oh, the fail, the new logo of RM Web. Yes. Gotta love. Close, that's what's the fail. The fail's an ugly logo. British Rail 10-1 o'clock. Got all the details. No, the coal is real, Alex. The coal is what's come through when I've put the real coal in here. Let's turn it round so the light's on it. So when I've put the real coal in the bunker, there's a hole down which opens out to the door. There. So the coal has come all the way down, and that is sat underneath the back. It's not Hornby modelling it. I like the leader. No one likes the leader, Alex. It didn't work well, but I like it. You cannot hide from me or mortal. You know, so I'm out there. You did it some chatbot. On the internet, no one knows you're a chatbot. You're a very good chatbot, Alex. Coal is real, the cake is a lie. Indeed, there we go. Chatbots, unlike me, can perish for their mistakes. Are only in power cuts, and then we come back. Because, as is well known, the reason my chatbot is called GaryBot 3.0 is because I am GaryBot 2.0. For those that didn't know that, there's a new fact for you. Right then, let us apply a crew to the H-class. My wash is dry and I'm happy with it. So a bit of super glue on the leg. And in he goes. The wash is not so dry on this one. but it's still fine. In he goes. And there we have the H-Class with a crew. I don't need to do that, do I? I can do the whole close-up thing again. I love this feature. And so there is our fireman turning the brake. And our driver. Come on, focus on the driver. Leaning on the side and reaching up for the regulator handle. Don't fall and block the light. Silly paper. So yes, I am quite happy with that. On the side protects me. Mod status helps too. Simple wrench icon cannot save you now. I am currently modelling with the force of 1,000 suns. Splendid close up. Thank you, James. Fingers over the timeout button. Terriers are stronger than 1,000 suns. Excellent crew. Thank you, Killian. So yes, let's put you back in the tripod. I suppose the next thing we have to do is put the H-Class back together. This is where it gets tricky, because you have to get everything to line up again. And you don't want to get too far before checking. Because you'll do something silly, like get the brake handle caught because of how close it is to the edge of the cab. Seriously, brake handle. There we go. Hornby, this design is terrible. Don't ever do that again. And then you get things like the safety valve that need to be manipulated into position. There we go. And she's together. So, I'll do time out button. Thank you, Alex. The comments are, as always, very much appreciated. And we can now get all the screws back in. Oh, there's a steel ball. So tiny you never even saw it. Yes, I know it's easier when you use your hands and do that. And there we go. One happy crew. So I don't think I've got any 8-pin DCC decoders, so this will have to stay as it is. with lots of blue stuff in the flywheel. That has definitely never run. Also, I got this when these logos first came out, and it has never run. How's that, ladies and gentlemen? That shows you how often I operate my layouts, doesn't it? Hornby, that design is terrible. Don't do that again. Exactly. Bad Hornby wants to be free. It wants to live in a cabless logo. Feel the wind in its handle. Maybe it has a. You can't see the Hornby steampunk. It's not even steampunk. Someone dropped a logo into a drawer of old tat and spilled glue at the same time. No, Code Monkey. That's not what happened. Hornby took some of their models, poured glue over them, whilst simultaneously throwing watch parts at them. And there we go, that's all the sandpipes back in sort of position. Better than when Hornby did these originally. For those that don't remember, Hornby positioned the sandpipes on these terribly and they all had to be realigned. I've just realised we forgot to do something to this logo. We never gave her our couplings. So even though she has a crew, she can't haul a train on my layout. That'll have to wait for another time. She's back together now. Gears on the roof should be a front bus on the bridge with gears on the roof. Sadly, people think cogs equals steampunk and nothing else. Yeah, I've heard that. Guy who works on the manufacturing plant dropped his watch into the machine. Yeah, that's probably what started it. God, we've got to do something with these models. What can we do? Let's announce it as a new range. Which when someone went, well, we can't put the Hornby name on this because it's absolutely blooming terrible. And someone went, that's okay, I'm sure we've got some other ranges' names lying around that we can tarnish instead of our own. That is how I imagine that conversation went. And let's be honest, I'm probably right. Hydration is important, ladies and gentlemen. So there we have an H-Class back together with its crew, even if it's not capable of hauling trains because I forgot to put couplings on it. Here we have Primrose. That's probably how that conversation went. Yeah, sounds about right. Glad I'm not the only one that thinks that. I'm pretty sure that's the only reason they've used the Basset Loke name. I want to put these guys in with tweezers. Just because I know how horrible these things are to take apart and get back together again. Basset Loke in 1920 produces 15-inch gauge locos. Basset Loke in 2020, best not mention it, yeah. I agree. Hattons did a wonderful job making these logos. They're absolutely fantastic. Do not take them apart unless you have to. This one I know doesn't have a DCC chip in it. And the reason for that is because I don't want to take it apart. Well, not more than once anyway. So it will be getting a DCC chip and its proper couplings fitted and everything all in one hit to avoid having to take it apart multiple times. I mean, it's partially the design's fault, the logo's fault. Things like these handrails, they're very nice, very thin, very flexible, very easy to snap or get in the wrong hole or fall out of alignment or something. Every single time. There's one there, there's one there, there's one there. There's the same on the other side. So, you know, top marks to Hattons for the detail they got in. I mean, they really did. Like, on a good camera, these... I mean, it's not focusing on purpose now because I said that, isn't it? The Southeastern and Chatham crest is legible. You can read Southeastern and Chatham Railway Management Committee around the edge of that. The one on Bluebell is the same. It's absolutely fantastic. Thank you for all the links, Alex. The 8-pin you need is a lace one with wires between the plug and the decoder do. The 8-pin you need is the lace one with wires between the plug and the decoder. Yes, Christopher, that's exactly the one I was going to get for it, actually. P-Class are a delight. I spent some time lining one with transfers a few months ago. They are absolutely fantastic, James. And yes, you did. I have seen your thread on RM Web, actually. So yes, I am well aware of that. So at this point in the stream, we're going to move on to something completely different, or we would if I hadn't realised I'm actually lacking water. Of course I'm lacking water when I want to do transfers. Yes, Killian, I know I missed out an O when I wrote too much flux on the chatbot. The chatbot's not too clever, you see, that's the problem. Don't buy it then. I won't, Christopher. Thanks very much. It is indeed appreciated. Since we're doing it, where are you? Edit. There you go. Submit, save changes. There we go. If you want to call the flux command again, I've actually corrected it this time. My lord, the villagers are rebelling against the chatbot. They are, aren't they? It's what happens when you program an inferior chatbot, Alex. Assuming I'm a simple villager was your first mistake. Oh, brilliant. Right. I am going to go and get some water, and that means we get to test out another one of my scenes. So isn't that much more entertaining than when I just leave you and you just get nothing to look at? Splendid to see Gary for chunkboard. Oak Hill test. It's funny you should say it. I do actually have an old TV test card done up for things. Hello, Max. Welcome. You are not very unnoticed. How are you this fine evening? What was the orange loco kit? The orange loco kit is a 3D printed Craven 042 saddle tank. The original loco, having been built in 1868, is an absolutely fantastic model. It was made by Javier, who I don't know if you're still around, Javier, are you? In 3D print, and was very much appreciated. A link to his Shapeways shop where it can be purchased, along with many other absolutely fantastic models, can be found by putting !Javier into the chat. And look at that, Alex beating me to it. Thanks very much. You are great. That's preached the gates got hard. Carrying the chalkboard in the same drum. So I'm starting 2p kit today. Oh, excellent, Max. That'll be good. That 2p kit in 3mm gauge. Not a gauge you see very often, so it'll be fantastic to see it. So let's see if I've taken all the lettering that I want off this transfer sheet. It looks like I have. Of course I have. Good job I bought many other sheets out here. I must say, she looks lovely. Yeah, it is an absolutely fantastic kit. She's absolutely beautiful and so well designed and blooming cheap as well. No one's going to mention my comment about projecting beyond time. It's just a normal Sunday for me. Every time Lord noises. Can't see someone projecting beyond time without itself. Too advanced for us. It is, isn't it, Alex? Figured it was normal. Projection too far, I'd expect. I'll be honest, I never saw the comment, so, you know. Just opening another set of transfers. But yeah, talking about my scenes and actually using one, it's made me realise that I missed the perfect opportunity earlier, because I do have a technical difficulties scene that I could have put up. Some people have seen it because I used it in my first test stream yesterday to make sure that Streamlabs doesn't hate me. Obviously that went really well, as I'm sure you all know by now. I'll be scratch building Nintendo chassis as the free SNR site is too complicated, although I'd love doing business with them. Drop them an email then, Max, if you can't work out the website. You spec correct, James. I've managed to become the oldest and youngest creature ever. It's okay until the arthritis sets in. You joke, but I genuinely do have arthritis. It's not fun. So, yes, HMRS Sheet 13. SR Goods Vehicles. One of these corners will come up. There we go. Because what we need here is some lettering on Tom's wagon. Bruce Forsyth. Anyone know anyone who does a Jenny Lind loco? Yeah, Killian does. I have one eventually coming to me. that I got in a trade for some other bits, but I've not got it yet for various reasons that we don't actually need to go into. So there will at some point be a Jenny Lind build on the channel. There are transfers there, I assure you. And I will admit, press fix quickly becoming my favourite transfers. I wonder if I still have my reference image that I can look at when I'm making this. I know where there's a reference image I can look at when I'm making this. So if it's not as secure as I'd like, one of the many reasons I order off eBay and Hattons. Yeah, don't order stuff by email, but talk to them on email and they will be able to help you out, Max. And I have arthritis too. Yeah, it's not fun, is it? There we go, we have a reference image and it includes a number that I have not yet modelled that I'm aware of, but it's exactly the right type for what I'm doing here. How fantastic. What madness is this? I am running J&R trains on Score Denture and I'm now thinking about the bits needed to finish it. Well, get it done then, Christopher. I'd be honoured. Well, it'll be happening, Killian, as soon as I get it off Linny. Woojin is linked to it by any chance. I'm projections these afterwards apparently. I've sold a lot of my locos so I can afford to build my own. Well, hey, great stuff, Killian. If you PM me, we'll work something out. Yeah. Killian's locos are wonderful. I know of one of the Jenny Lind that has been built and painted and looks absolutely fantastic. I can definitely recommend it. And I cannot wait to have mine. So, press fix transfers. Why are they called press fix? Because you press them on and that to fix them. I'm going to start on this side. And I'm going to put all the transfers in place. I am lining them up using the planks on the wagon. I don't know how well they're showing up on the stream, but there we go. There is our LBSC. Found lost wheel sets I was looking for. They are Lone Star. I haven't been able to find them the past 2 years. That's quite a while, Mats. Streaming off the PC, very posh. Indeed we are, Mats. What sense worth of works of art? Yeah, I very much want one of his box tanks at some point, but that should have to wait. So now I'm just pressing down all of the letters. Nothing I do is art. That is not true, Killian. What you do is most definitely art. Modeling is art. Sharks and Kudat's China clay wagon kits, but I don't want China clay wagon kits. Do you love pre-moving rounds, details and livery are to die for? Indeed they are. Get them done at some point for display. Ah, fair enough. It's a good answer, Alex. Oh, this does not transfer very much water. So now, with them pressed in place, we put water onto the transfer paper. And allow the transfer paper to soak. Well, the collection will be thinned, the boxes are going nowhere. I tell you what, Alex, I'm really glad to hear that. I'm very glad to hear they're going nowhere. Oh look, the chatbot wants you to come and check out the Discord, everyone. If you're not on the Discord, it's a great place to be. Glad to hear oh, and the budget model railway tram kit is on its way to my house. Got the shipping info today. My new dad informed me. Oh, excellent, Max. Excellent. Glad to hear it. So, with the transfer paper moistened and soaked, we can just lift it off, leaving us with just the transfers. Which we can then dab dry, and we already have a fantastic looking wagon. Now, when you consider this is essentially a failed print of Tom's, I'm still going with Tom should send me all of his failed prints. It's absolutely wonderful. So, what was the number we were going with? We are going with 6883. So I have a nice red roof for chase water smell. So very nice, Killian. So now marvellous be worn mats, smaller parts such as buffers, steps, etc. snap off very easily. I bet they do. Putting transfer on you so much anxiety, my OCD will go mad if it's a little off. Oh, the joys. Oh yeah, I do know the feeling. If I do a wagon and it's not great, I mean, as I say, this is a test print from Killian. It's a failed print. It has a lot of impurities already. It will be getting a wagon sheet. So I'm not too worried about transfers being a little bit off because you won't notice it once the sheet's on. But they do still need to be there because you'll see the bottom of the letters, for example. So it is still important for me to get them there. So 6883. Do I have those left on my already open sheet? Because I would rather use them off here than off the new one if I can. Six, eight, eight, three. I think I've only got it the once. Oh no, I have got it twice. That'll do. So we can do it off this sheet. That is fine. So we'll start over here. With a 6. And again, I am lining these up using the planks on the wagon. Well, as long as I remember, no chance of me getting rid of them. That's good, Alex. That is very good. Looks splendid. To think that only last week it was bright green attached supports. Indeed it was. Need to spot. Arcshot's E2 as well as T2 gauge version for rebuilding my current model of Thomas. Get on with it then, Max, and use full names. Micro eyeballing the transfers to perfection shouldn't legally be a skill. Question for the chat: when does detail become unneeded? Never will. What liberal application of 3-foot rule while aligning things? Well, yeah, there is that. Scotchman, Europa, Smelter, 115 and the Culm Valley single all in the next 3 weeks. Go for it, Killian. That's impressive. Sprung buffers, cab detail, opening doors and such. I like sprung buffers because I use scale couplings. But they're kind of pointless if you're using tension locks. And I don't see a reason to have doors opening. But it's impressive. When there is too much 3-foot rule, as I say, if it's small enough you can't effectively recreate it, you can't have too much detail. My rule for my models is if a blind man on a horse from 20 foot away couldn't tell that it's wrong, should specify a galloping horse. If a blind man on a galloping horse from 20 foot away couldn't tell that it's wrong, then it's right. And I think that's the rule everyone should live by. If you can and want to do them, do them. If you can't, don't want them, don't. If you can't, but want to get someone else. Yeah, that one works. Detail effects, pricing RTO was nice. Sprung buffers, cab detail should always be a thing. Opening doors, meh. Yeah, I use tension locks myself. Yeah, see, for tension locks, I don't see a point of sprung buffers. I do like when manufacturers include sprung buffers as standard, though, because it saves me having to convert them, which means I don't have to spend extra money. But if I was using the tension locks that come on the locos, then to me it would be a pointless add-on. Right, so now we just, as before, press all them down. Speaking of that, any favourites from the Hornby 2020 range? Yeah, we were all discussing earlier, Max, how much we love the steampunk range. We're all planning on doing steampunk layouts now, using exclusively Hornby stuff to make them. The price of RTR is what it is. It isn't going to get cheaper as time goes on. That's very true. I would play with the idea of open doors, but most people like to glue their crews and cabs to the floor. They'd also just flap about. There wasn't really much in it for me this year. No, in all seriousness, there actually wasn't anything for me in the announcements this year. So, with them soaking, I should hopefully now be able to slide off all the transfer paper. There we go. That's all come off in one go. Wasn't that kind of it? I'm a fan of Hush Hush being announced. I mean, I can see a lot of people liking it, but again, not for me. See, and Killian wasn't Tom wasn't happy with this. This is a rejected print, remember, everyone. Can't even joke about the steampunk range. I can. Got to get going recording the video, be uploading it during summertime. Fair enough, Max. See you later. Thanks for popping by. New Live Terror looks alright. Love you all. Have a nice night. Another Hush Hush fan. Excellent. Yeah. Thanks for popping by, Max. Enjoy. I can joke about anything, Alex. I never take life too seriously. You might have noticed that. So, yes. That is that done. Do we have a tear weight for that wagon? Because they did change surprisingly by surprising amounts. I mean, on this page I'm looking at alone, I've got 3 wagons that I can see the tear weights on them. 511 0, 514 0 and 510 3. They are all the same diagram. The drawing for this diagram says 512 1. I'm guessing that's what it was designed for. We should probably try and fit it. KD's in the US lifesaver. That's awesome. Honestly, thinking about getting the rocket. Good luck. Sold out. Retailer ends up stocking it. It's already sold out. Well, if they've got it, they've got it. If they haven't, they won't. Unfortunately. Right, so that goes there, which is a bit different. No, that's the wrong livery. Don't look at the wrong livery for details, although it does go in the same place, so that's okay then. Time to go blind. I'd best put the world into high definition. I will be getting a rocket. Many UK retailers have already been told they won't get the full allocation for them. Glad I pre-ordered them as soon as they were announced. Alex getting a second run, right? Not that we know, Will. It's it's limited edition. It will probably get a second run in a few years' time, but it won't be any time soon. From Newman. Of course you are, Christopher. I mean, at least yours will be in a livery in a condition that it actually ran. So we're going to start by cutting out a 1. And we're going to see if I can get this tear weight on before the end of the stream. I realise that's going to be quite a task at 10 to midnight. No, don't move when I'm pressing you down. Actually, you want to be slightly. You want to be there, don't you? That's probably why you're moving, because you've got that bump there. There's a 1. We will now want a 2. Which, of course, is not next to the 1. There's a 2 loose here, though. And then we want another 1. And then we want a 5. Single solitary 5 up here, meaning I don't have to start a new row. Come back. And we'll put those transfers away. There's no way we're getting any more transfers done. Oh, yeah, so it can run. I promise that I will someday. I already have to spare 45. No bad mouth in my rocket. I'm not. I never did any such thing. She said so. Got on with it. Now I'm out of figures. Brilliant, Christopher. Has anyone here seen anyone do a functional 00 scale Evening Porter blue circle? I don't think I have seen one, but I believe there is one. Oh look, Mr. Chatbot wants you to smash that like button and stuff. Do that. Smash the like button. And there is a tear weight on the side. We've still got 10 minutes to go. Or 9 minutes to go. Come on, focus, camera. Really doesn't want to, does it? There we go. Terrible tear weight, but it's there. Who made it? No idea. No idea. I just believe I've heard of one at some point. Now, we are actually going to finish off adding some paint to this wagon now, because it is missing a couple of bits that we didn't do last week. At least on, on this side, so that this side is finished. And of course, one of those things is some liquid silver on the buffers, which was 3D print one on Shapeways, seen one in Engage working. I neglect where Gavin Pat's the Shapeways blue circle. That's impressive, an Engage one. Oh, good. I like it when this paint sticks the lid down. Of course, it's not actually paint, is it? It's silver leaf. And the stuff in it is very good at sticking the lid down. There we go, got it. Sparkshot has a static Engage one. So a working Engage one would be very, very impressive. So yes, we are going to paint the buffer heads silver. As Tom's not here, I once again want, or at least I don't believe he's here. I'm sure he would have said something with me working on this if he was by now. I want to point out once again that this is an absolutely fantastic model. Currently not available. This was, of course, a test build. Tom is still working on final things for the print to bring it up to saleable standard. Hopefully that won't take long before you can all get your grubby mitts on it. Because it's a fantastic build. At the start of last week's stream, that wagon was nothing. He was here earlier before you were working on this. Yeah, I know he was here earlier, but I'm sure he would have said something when I was working on it if he was still here. You don't need to delete your message, Alex. Oh, traction engine loco. My SolidWorks license wasn't expired in 3 weeks. Have to go now and have a good rest of the stream. All right, thank you for popping by. I mean, the stream will be ending in 5 minutes anyway, so you're not going to miss much. I am going to put a white rectangle on the corner of this wagon, though, as this one had one. Some wagons seem to have these, some didn't. Look at that, white paint everywhere. Oh, good, you can't see it. But just on the end of a lot of Brighton wagons, I've ruined this brush now. There was, on this bottom plank, a white rectangle. Before you ask, no, I don't know why. It just was. You have an alternate here? Yeah, I hope that you have an alternate to work with, Killian. Otherwise, we're all going to have to... Ignorantly, it solves the virtues of Blender. So if you don't have an alternative, then we're going to have to like crowdfund you a new license. I approve of white rectangles. Yeah, but does anyone know why the white rectangles existed, James? I know that, like, this one I know had them. I've seen photos of them with them. I've seen photos of them without them. Some of them they appear to be just painted on like this. Some of them they appear to be a plate. Who knows? But there we have what I'm calling a rather nice looking wagon. I'm very happy with it. How much is the license? 4 digits. So I'm sure we can raise that. It's actually using Blender early in the stream. Do approve of Blender very much indeed. I've used Blender to produce 3D printed model railway items in the past. Technically still a student. I should be able to get it for another year. Not counting on it though. Only 3 minutes left. Indeed, only 3 minutes left. Let me just make a note of something. Where are you, notepad? I want to make a note. There we go. Note made. Kind of dancing around learning Blender just with how many hotkeys I have to now learn. Yeah, I've heard that about Blender, that you have to know a lot of hotkeys to use it. So, before we end the stream, I kind of really want to get... I want to get all these projects here in front of us finished. I also want to... move on to doing this. So, my question for you all, before we finish the stream, since we still have 11 people here, apparently, that's rather good numbers, I'm rather impressed, thank you all for being here, is, what would we like to see next week? Would we like to carry on getting these things finished? Or would we like to get going on the Wheels Finecast D-Class? Please do let me know. Don't squeeze too much at my AutoCAD license. Hotkeys glorious, but you can get away with only matched space to use search. In the D spacebar may have another function in the latest version. Finished projects. That's one vote for each so far. I vote for the K class. Ah, but the K class is happening in videos, James. The K class is a video project. Perhaps we'd better to finish the ones you have here. I mean, there's no harm me finishing these off camera if people don't want to sit and watch the same thing over and over and over again. And I mean, there's no harm in having a break from them and then coming back to them on stream halfway through the D class. Finished projects, current projects. Right, so it's looking very much in favour of finish the current projects then. I will take that as gospel for what we shall do next week, is getting on and finishing these projects. So, with that, everyone, I would like to thank you all for coming. It has been absolutely wonderful, even with our technical difficulties we had earlier in the night. I have had a great time. I hope you have had a great time too. You have all been awesome. I cannot thank you enough for being here. Please do like the stream, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Hit the notification bell so you get alerted of my videos and my streams. There will be, as usual, a video going up Tuesday and Thursday this week, and then we shall see you back here next Sunday for the next stream. You have been absolutely fantastic. I have been Gary. This has been Let's Build Live, and good night, everyone.